故事设定在美国的1963年，那时社会正处于表面上男主外女主内的稳定社会结构，实则内里早已暗流涌动，女性已经开始质疑天生就该做家庭主妇的规训，正处于女性觉醒的前夕。18岁的欧迪对性十分好奇，于是计划与男友丹尼出场经过，结果还没实施就被父母发现，因此欧迪被强制将他和他的马转到了高等女校。这棒打鸳鸯的戏码令欧迪十分不爽。到了新学校，同学艾比带他熟悉环境，认识校长麦小姐，介绍高等女校的校训。学校十分重视荣誉制度，且主张女孩要自律，这样才能培养出负责的人。顺便提一句，我爸妈是校董哦。可心烦的欧迪根本就不在意这一切，还不如去看看他的马。艾比本想提醒他小心他的室友，见他这态度，只能让他自求多福了。果然，欧迪刚到宿舍，就看到自己的行李箱已经被翻了个底朝天。
I did not give you permission to play my records.
I'm Tinka Parker, and this is Verena von Steffen.
Odie, those are my shoes.
We always borrow each other's things.
真是一群没有边界感的室友呀。他们简单聊了几句，凡人娜觉得欧迪非常有趣，想与他交朋友。可只有身体在这的欧迪，心早就跑到了别处，哪有心情交朋友呢？更别说这几个在他看来有些奇葩的女孩。一个疯狂吃又疯狂催吐的翠迪，一点边界感都没有的凡人娜、婷卡，爱打小报告的艾比，还有对他私生活极其感兴趣的毛毛。欧迪忍不住向男友吐槽自己的遭遇。
Dear Dennis, I miss you so much. I'm perishing in this penal colony. My roommates are demented.
可俩人总写信也不行啊，于是欧迪想趁周末的时候请假外出与丹尼约会，但
I'd like to know why you turned down my request for a pass this weekend.You
wanted to go into New York to see a horse show, alone and unchaperoned. Your parents worry you may run off to meet some boy. I'm required to keep you here on weekends unless you're invited by a friend whom they approve.
麦校长劝他忘记过去，最好的办法就是交新朋友。
They're not just girls. They're you. And if you get to know them, then you'll be discovering yourself.And that is, believe it or not, as great an adventure as the opposite sex.
Thank you.
欧迪若有所思，还没等他行动，就被学校唯一的男老师叫到了办公室。杜老师听说他周末想去纽约，而自己那天恰好要去纽约听演讲，便不怀好意的邀请他一起。不过前提是这件事不能告诉任何人。这言外之意，欧迪也不傻，但外出的机会确实难得，他有些犯难，便主动找室友们吐槽了几句。凡人娜几人一听就知道杜老师的目的，他们早就看他不顺眼了，这次一定要想办法把他赶走。
Well, I thought that maybe if I went to New York, I could sneak away and see Dennis.
You don't need Dewey to go to New York.
All you have to do.
女孩们边走边替欧迪想办法，他们想到可以让每年拿美术奖的翠迪临摹欧迪妈妈的字迹写信给校长，这样就可以拿到外出许可证了。
How do you mail it so it has the right postmark?
You mail it to one of your friends back home and they mail it for you.Miss Goddard's girls are very organized.
问题解决，女孩们开心的去喝咖啡。这时镇上的一个小伙对婷卡一见钟情，一路跟着他们来到了店里，大方的表达对婷卡的喜欢。婷卡对自己的魅力一直很自信，但作为女孩也是要矜持的，于是趁男孩们不注意，几人转身就跑，却正好撞见了纪律委员艾比。
You're supposed to wear the school blazer on all trips into the Ville, didn't you know that?
Yes, I did. But actually, I have a complaint about the school jacket. I find it a little too restraining. Cuts off flow of blood to my breasts.
凡人娜十分欣赏欧迪这种不盲从、敢表达的态度，于是真诚地邀请他加入 DRR 俱乐部。什么是 DRR？ 那咱们得换个地方聊，只属于 DRR 的秘密基地。这里是学校的阁楼，可以通往宿舍、教室、厨房。DRR 全称为美国饺子之女，是对美国革命之女的幽默戏仿。几个女孩很亲情，大家在南德高中接受好的教育、好的教养。但在10年之后就会变成2-3个孩子的妈，有2辆车、1栋房子、1只狗，过着一眼望到头的生活。所以他们又称高等学校为新娘学校。但 DRR 的理念是追求女性身体和意志的自主权，相比于困于家庭，他们更想实现自己的梦想。
I'm going to become a pioneer biologist and find a cure for something.
I'm going to start my own magazine, like Vogue. I'm going to call it Moi.
I'm going to be a psychiatrist.I'm going to be on the cover of Moi magazine as a famous actress, folk singer, slut.
不管梦想大小，只要是 DRR 成员，大家都会一辈子互帮互助。那么欧迪的梦想呢？其实早在电影开头就被扼杀了。 欧弟渴望摆脱贞洁的身份，并非单纯对性的好奇，社会对女性价值与贞洁划等号，父母也因此擅自将他转校，都以为了你好而保护他的贞洁，却没有人问他的意愿。越是如此，他就越是偏执，越是想证明自己。与其说他是想摆脱贞洁，不如说他是想夺回身体的掌控权。不过现在只要他加入 DR2， 大家就会帮他完成这件事，但加入也是有测验的。
Which brings us to another item on our agenda.
Yes, Mr. Dewey has got to go.
说干就干，他们第2天就拟好了计划。63年的美国，性话题是绝对禁忌，尤其对老师这个职业有着近乎苛刻的道德标准。一旦涉及这个话题，就会被贴上不配为人师的标签。于是欧弟和凡瑞娜配合，将情趣用品书籍偷偷放到杜老师的包里，然后设计其他女老师来发现。他们相信学校为了声誉绝对会开除杜老师，计划实行的也很顺利。但他们千算万算，却没有算到校长对他们的脾气秉性了如指掌，连证据都不需要，麦校长就猜到是凡瑞娜干的。
You're very smart, von Stefan, but mainly in the derriere. So unless your smarts begin migrating from your hiney to your head, the next time you find yourself in this office will be the occasion of your dismissal.
This is so unfair. I don't even know.
I have
how
asked
feel
Abby
about-
to keep an eye on you and to report anything she construes as misconduct.
Yes, Miss McVeigh.
而被识破的还不止这一件事。
Oh, Dad, I received a letter from your mother requesting a weekend pass.
Yes, this weekend.
However, your mother happened to call this morning about a tuition payment, and when I mentioned the letter, she knew nothing about it.
凡瑞娜被警告再有下次直接开除，欧弟被罚1年不能外出，这下真是偷鸡不成蚀把米呀。不过凡瑞娜内心本就希望欧弟应该正视自己真正的梦想。
I'd rather be planning your political career. You shouldn't be thinking about sex.
不过很快他们就有更大的事情要筹划了。晚上翠迪正去厨房拿东西吃，却不小心踩到了天花板，好巧不巧的掉进了校长办公室，又好巧不巧的听到高德女校要和圣安博男校合并的消息。
Founded this school because she believed girls had a better chance to grow strong away from the irresistible domination of men. They come first here. If we merge with the boys' academy, the girls will come second. They shouldn't have to learn such a bitter lesson at this crucial age.
麦校长其实不想合并，但因经济问题只能如此。翠迪随即将消息带回了宿舍 ，DR2 成员紧急集合。关于合并学校，有人欢喜，有人忧。
It's not gonna be okay. I'm not gonna get into MIT now. If I apply with a lot of boys from the same school, you know they'll accept the boys first.
就像麦校长说的，这个父权社会，即便是大家同样的成绩，学校也会优先考虑男同学。不仅如此，一旦合并，男同学的涌入会带来无处不在的审视，女孩们会下意识地注重自己的外表，从前学习的时间会大量转移到梳妆打扮上，这是凡瑞娜和毛毛无法接受的。但这个社会就是有男有女，你总要适应。一时间，成员们的意见无法统一。可凡瑞娜就不是坐以待毙的性格，于是她和毛毛两人一拍即合。5月份，圣安博合唱团美名其曰来这里举办演唱会，其实也是想要趁机考察高德女校。但对凡瑞娜来说，这不就是送上门的机会吗？于是她与毛毛开始展开计划。他们先找到厨房采买人员，买来数十个空酒瓶，再由毛毛用自己的化学知识配出苹果味的饮料，然后再找到合唱团的名单，找出圣安博董事的儿子，把他作为首要的攻略对象。
Hello, is this Mr. Frost to whom I'm speaking?
Yeah.
合唱团很快到来，男孩们下车前还打着恶趣味的赌。
We got about $80 in the kitty. It goes to whoever state has the largest set of nannies. You must furnish proof. Our roving photographer will find you. Let's go.
学校很重视这次活动，所以专门为每个男同学配了女伴。
Hi, my name's Charles.
Todd Winslow.
Teresa Goldberg, nice to meet you.
Frost.
Sawyer.
Miss Phipps, I was supposed to get Frost. I signed up for him. Abby, you changed the list.
Farina, everyone has been matched by height. You are too tall for Mr. Frost. Your date is Mr. Bateman.
他们仿佛就是天生的规则，即使凡瑞娜自主选择了男伴，还是会因外表被修改。而且这位男同学也没高多少好吗？不过这对凡瑞娜来说也并不是什么难事。
Oh, I'm so maladroit. Can you ever forgive me? Never. Gotta go change.
他顺利达到目的，立马将傅同学带到了别处。闲聊中，凡瑞娜意外得知傅同学既和自己的情况一样，两人父母都在打离婚官司，都讨厌那种被夹在中间的感觉。虽然同病相怜，但计划还是要实施的。凡瑞娜拿出准备好的镇定剂，哄骗他吃下。
Would you like to come up to my room later?
Allowed to have boys in your dorm?
Of course not. But there's a secret door I'll show you. You won't get caught.
Well, I'd love it if I got caught. Yeah, I've tried to get kicked out of St. Ambrose, but my grandfather, he'd just get me kicked right back in.
Why don't you like the school?
I don't fit in. All the guys at St. Ambrose are marching off the same cliff, you know. The seat on stock exchange, the wife, the 3.2 children.
Yeah, the colonial, the collie.
Yeah.
他也没想到傅同学竟和自己有着志同道合的想法，而另一边的欧弟则趁机约男友来秘密基地共度良宵。他百般提醒丹尼一定要准备好保险套。
Contraceptive phone?
This is something new. The girl puts it in.
欧弟有些失望丹尼的做法，但他的那份执着仍推着他继续。于是俩人开始研究新产品的用法。另一边，凡瑞娜被爱彼的伙伴撬走了傅同学，他气不过，但眼下还有别的事要做，只能待会再来找他。凡瑞娜先将空酒瓶丢到上崖板校车上，然后毛毛将配好的饮料摆在舞台上。饮料的作用下，同学们的行为举止放开了许多。
Break it up, please.
翠迪以为遇到了懂自己的人，殊不知这只是一场阴谋。赤裸裸的恶意让翠迪对男生的信任彻底崩塌。她本就因贪食症，觉得自己的身材不够瘦，不够完美。对方有预谋的恶意行为，令她更加厌恶自己的身体。他们将翠迪当成利器玩具，漠视她的感受，行为之恶劣，两人也被现实拉到了拒绝合并男校的一对。婷卡气得要找温同学理论，但根本没人听他说了什么，还被可恶的杜老师给拦住。
Excuse me, sir, may I cut in?
是他，小镇上的小伙，他是怎么混进来的？
You beat up Todd Winslow? Oh, you sweetheart.
这也算是无意中为翠迪报了仇，干得不错哟。
Good going, Jenna.
两人研究失败，也因此吵了起来，却不知声音引来了旁人。
What a convenient trysting place.
丹尼将一切归咎到自己身上，但杜老师却是这么认为的。
It's clear to me that she lured you here.
就离谱，他一边将一切怪到欧迪身上，一边将丹尼赶走，称自己要单独教训欧迪。欧迪知道杜老师的真面目，大喊着让男友留下来，但事与愿违。这一刻，欧迪终于看清男人的嘴脸，不过眼下的事更加紧急。好在婷卡与小蛇一行人及时赶到，救下了他。大家将杜老师扒光，丢进了校长办公室，然后将唯一的裙子扔了下去。这回终于解气了一把。舞台上，在校长赶来之前，毛毛将饮料收了起来，目的已完成一半。男同学濒临断片的边缘，但还是要强撑着完成演唱会。其他人也纷纷赶来观看，不过校长还是发现少了5个男同学和1个女同学凡瑞娜，其中傅同学就与他在一起。如果傅同学被人发现在高德的女生宿舍醒来，绝对是一件很严重的事。这样既能阻止合并学校，也能实现傅同学退学的想法，可谓是两全其美。但现实总是会发生一些计划外的事。同时被发现可就不妙了呀。不过另一边的计划倒是实施得很顺利，毛毛、婷卡几人趁乱将呕吐剂发给众人。
What is it?
Hair the bird that bit ya? Takes a few minutes to work.
主打一个场面越乱越好，结果也没有令大家失望。一些未浅的根本不用药也跟着呕吐了起来，这次真是丢脸丢到家了呀。临走时，男校长发现了校车上的空瓶，还有那几个被抢去衣服的。
I hope you will discipline this human debris.
Let me assure you, they will return to St. Ambrose only to pack.
真的是气得想爆粗口。客人走了，下面就该清算自家的事儿了。首当其冲的便是杜老师的妻子，终于发现了他的真面目。
That about does it for me.
而麦校长像上次一样，不需要证据就知道是谁干的。上次怎么说来着？再有下次就开除处理。当然，那个男生也会被开除。
You betrayed us.
No. Year after year, I've been on my knees, groveling to the alumni for handouts, $5 here, $10 there, big spenders. The men give generously to their schools. It's a solid investment for ensuring that a steady supply of the nation's leaders will be men. Maybe you women don't give because deep down you know it's useless.
28 years of work just so I can kiss some headmaster's ass.
Miss McVeigh.
I may be at the end of the road here, but you're young, and you have the talent and power to lead. Don't stop the fight. Wherever you go, Verena, don't give up.
凡瑞娜同样鼓励着第二成员，不舍得与大家告别。圣安柏合唱团的到来发生的一系列事情，让欧迪意识到，他们一旦入校，自己将失去身体与人生的自主权。于是，在心中暗自下了个决定，在宣布合并校园的这天，他站上石台，呼吁大家像自己一样站起来。
We've been gypped. Some of you may think this school going co-ed is a great idea. Others of you may think it's horrendous. But right now, the point is that the Board of Trustees doesn't care what you think. Did they ever consult us? No. Did they ever ask us what we wanted? No! They teach us self-government, and then they disenfranchise us. They teach us to take ourselves seriously, and then they act as if we don't count. They expect us to stand around and be docile and meek in our little white gloves while they wield absolute power. Well, I say no more little white gloves.
他们罢课，通知媒体，利用舆论改变现状。董事对他们无计可施。就在打算用强硬手段时，欧弟骑马带领女孩们护在宿舍门前，不退让一分一毫。于是他们得到了坐下来平等谈判的机会。
Now this may seem pretty simple, but now it's time to decide how you really feel about Miss Goddard's. Some of you may think of this place as a prison. Some old-fashioned prude's idea about keeping us out of trouble because we can't be trusted to look out for ourselves. And you think times have changed and we can hold our own with boys. So you'll vote yes on co-education. Miss Goddard's will disappear like the dinosaurs. Now for others of you, you think this place has brought out the best in you. In here, they give you the nerve to reach into yourself and pull out your colors and wave them as high as you can. So you'll vote no on changing this place. Because to you, Miss Goddard's isn't a prison at all. It's a place to be free.
欧弟被选为学生代表参与董事会，而最终投票结果赞成77票，反对115票。同时大家也知道学校的难处，便决定与学校共度难关。所有人将自己的存款捐出，合计3000元。
Now maybe that's a paltry amount, but their generosity just about broke my heart. And I am sure that if parents and alumni follow their example, we can solve whatever budget problems we have.
最后大家成功力挽狂澜，就像大家反馈更名一样，第一次体验到了发声的力量。女孩们也都实现了自己的梦想，凡瑞娜更是抱得美人归，与副同学走到了一起。这场旧社会中从阁楼里生出的觉醒与连接，从未随着时间消散。它伴随一代又一代女孩们的成长之路，告诉每一个她，就如影名一样，你可以放肆做自己，你值得被尊重。这样一部励志清醒的女性题材电影，真的推荐大家都去看一看。今天的故事就到这里啦，感谢宝子们的观看。